Good evening, everyone. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about fear. I remember a few years ago, I went to visit my parents and I was looking out into the front garden and I saw a cat. There was a cat there, it was an injured cat, and it was in a black rubbish bag and it was trying to get out. And in that moment, so much fear came upon me. I was like, first of all, I can be a bit squeamish. I was like, how am I going to touch an injured cat or get an injured cat out of the front garden? I was like, why is it there? Is it a targeted attack? If it's targeted and someone's put this cat in our garden, what are they trying to say? What's their intention? Are they going to do it again? If it's random, why would they pick our house so randomly? Why is this cat here? And I'm normally quite a cool, calm and collected person, but all these fears of mine came across in just a moment. So the only thing I could think of was my dad. My dad has to sort this out. So I went to see him, and then he went round to the front garden. I didn't care how he was going to resolve this. I didn't think how he was going to resolve it, but I was just glad, I was just so relieved that he was there for me to turn to. So he went to the black bag to get this cat out, and lo and behold, when we opened the black bag, there was no cat at all. It wasn't a cat. It was actually a rolled up piece of turf, a rolled up piece of grass that I had actually bought maybe years even before. I remember I bought it really cheaply because I thought it was a really good bargain, and it had sat in my garden and I hadn't used it. So I thought, oh, my parents might use it. And here it was, no use to anyone at all, but fueling a really irrational fear. One of the things that the word says in 1 John 2 verse 8, it talks about the clearing away of darkness, making room for the light, the revelation of God to shine. So the first thing I thought about was actually some of our fears are fueled by old transactions that we've had, old relationships, decisions that we've made, things that we haven't dealt with, and we let them fester and hang around doing no good at all until the point at which they start to fuel our fears. So we need to try and avoid getting into those situations. But let's be real, we're human. We make mistakes and we make bad decisions. So when we can, we need to clear away and deal with fear when it comes. Clear it away, make room for the light. The second thing, but actually really the first thing that we need to do, is we need to turn to God. We need to turn to our Father. I turned to my Father and he was such awesome relief. So you need to learn to turn to your Father, our Father in heaven. He says, come to me, all who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. His rest is real. The third thing is that sometimes we are so overwhelmed by fear, or just got too many problems and we're not sure what to do. And God creates intercessors for us. And if we think we've got so many people placed in the right position for us to help us, but we don't always turn to them. There are friends, our family, our colleagues, charities, the government, so many people around us. We need to actually step out and ask people to help us through so that we can deal with our fears. So during the season, your fears may be health-wise. You might have a headache, a sore leg. It could be anything, chest pain. Just because there's coronavirus, this is not the time not to deal with your health. Go and see a GP, go and see a health professional so they can try to start to help you. You might have financial fears. You know, you might have lost your job, your income might have changed. You're worried about your mortgage, how you're going to pay it. There is help out there for you. Think about charities like Christians Against Poverty. So many charities out there that help with people who have overwhelming debts. They were helping people before this, they can help you now. Speak to your bank. This is the time to try and seek some help. There's people now that you're at home, and because of the situation, you normally are so busy with life that you can push all of your thoughts to the back of your mind. But now all those things that maybe you didn't deal with, you haven't resolved, are coming to the forefront, and there's so much room and time to deal with them and try and for them to overwhelm you. But actually now's the time that maybe you need to seek counselling. Maybe now's the time to grab hold of all of your anxieties and actually get someone to try and help you through. You know, the psalmist speaks about when my anxieties overwhelmed me, your comfort was my delight. So when your anxieties are overwhelming you, again, you need to run to the Father. His comfort will be your delight. I know through the season that we're saying a lot of do not fear. We're saying that God has not given you the spirit of fear. He truly has given you the spirit of, he truly has given you power and love and a sound mind. So what I would say to you in terms of trying to put all these scriptures into practice is that when you're in a place, when you're fearful, when you're looking out of a window onto a front garden with an apparently injured cat in a wrapped up plastic bag. Just in your moment, when you have a second of sound mind, use that time to just run to the Father. It might be only a second, but it's the start. When you run to the Father, He'll start to make moves for you, but you need to step out. Staying in your situation is not going to help you, so don't let fear have room in your heart. Let it free so God can remove that spirit of fear from you. Amen.